Hey guys, Matt. I just got done finishing and editing my informative speech presentation PowerPoint thing and dropping it and everything. So decided to go ahead and record this, get it all out in one little go. So yeah, I've got my camera screen here and my little question prompts on the side. So yeah, um, I guess the purpose of my speech was, well, obviously to inform, because that's what the speech was. But I chose the topic esports and competitive gaming because not a lot of people know about it, and it's kind of something that's starting to rise, and it's something that I'm actually kind of passionate about. So I just wanted to kind of inform people and get them to learn about this topic. I felt really confident going into the presentation, honestly. I've been around the scene for about 6 or 7 years, and I've learned a lot and, had a lot of experiences with the scene through that time. So I wanted to, just kind of, relay that, I guess. I wanted to put that into my speech, make sure people realize that, oh, hey, what he's talking about. He's not an idiot. And yeah, so for speaker ethos, you couldn't see me, so it's not like I could look professional or anything like that. But for the most part, in like my wording and my narration, I tried to do my best to make sure that I sounded competent in what I was saying, and tried to make sure that the reader was like, oh yeah, this guy probably knows what he's talking about. So yeah, my tech was okay. Um, I actually use this microphone right here on my headset that I use when I talk to people on Skype and stuff. Um, because I thought it's better than my computer microphone. It might not be. I don't actually know. I never really tried to compare the two. And that's the one thing that I would probably do differently, is I could probably just use my computer microphone like I'm doing right now. So, yeah. The principles that I kept in mind for actually making the PowerPoint, I guess, was, for the most part, just don't be too wordy and don't be too flashy. I mean, normally people read or listen to or watch or whatever a PowerPoint because it's for education, not so much entertainment. So that's actually one of the tips I guess I'd give is don't get too flashy. Transitions are cool and everything, but you don't have to have one on every slide. You don't have to make your words, zoom in or whatever. It's just kind of flashy stuff to make you look cool, I guess. I don't know. And also just don't get too wordy on the pages, especially for a narrative presentation. You're going to be speaking and you can cut down on the words because you can elaborate with your narration rather than what you're actually typing. So, yeah, I guess that would be my two little tips, I guess. Um, when it comes to structure and organization, I think I was okay. Um, there was a couple things that I had to do to my outline to make it good for the final draft, but I think for the most part I was okay. My transitions, as for the slides themselves, weren't that good, I don't think, honestly. But I made up for that in the actual narration. At least I hope I did. I think I did, in my personal opinion. So just making the PowerPoint in and of itself, though, is what felt natural to me because I made a lot of PowerPoints in my time. So that was pretty natural. But what felt odd was actually narrating it, talking to my computer, narrating it. I've made PowerPoints in the past, like I said, and every time I made a PowerPoint, I throw it together and then I go up in front of the class and then, point to oh, here's this and here's this and here's this, and I have a little clicker or something. Um, this time I was literally just, pressing spacebar and narrating, so it just felt a little bit different. Um, the way I've considered my audience was the same way that I always do when talking about esports and this kind of stuff. I just kind of assumed that my audience didn't necessarily know what I was talking about, because not a lot of people do. At least not a lot of people that I know do. It's kind of a new thing that's been on the rise, and I just kind of assumed that my audience, whoever's going to listen to it or read it or whatever, I just kind of assumed that they didn't know what it was, and I tried to inform them, basically. The thing that I did in my speech that worked was I just think the overall organization. I think the design of the background and everything was pretty cool. I think that my wording was pretty good, and what I had to cut out in my actual typing, I made up for my narration, in my opinion. What didn't work really is initially when I made the PowerPoint and then went back and narrated it, I realized that some of my things were a little too wordy, like I had too long of sentences, or I had too many words, or whatever. So, yeah, that's kind of what didn't work, I guess. The one thing I can target for improvement is my narration. Sometimes I'll stumble over my sentences, try to recover and keep going, and that's definitely something that I can work on, and it's something I've been trying to work on for a long time, but it just kind of hasn't panned out yet, So, And I guess for the last little thing, the connect thing with the textbook or whatever, I'd have to go all the way back to the first chapter, pages I think 27 and 28, I believe. The ones that talked about the myths, the different myths, and more specifically the last myth, the one that talks about there is no correct way to give a speech. I don't agree with that. I know, or no, I agree with that. Sorry. I don't agree with what the book said. The book said, "Oh yeah, there is a correct way, or else there wouldn't be good speakers or good speeches," and I don't agree with that. The reason that there are good speeches and speakers is because those speeches and speakers have, um, they have like a bit of their author or their presenter in it. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like a robot. You know, you put yourself into it. You know, and you let yourself shine through. Same with poetry and everything. You gotta put your own touch on things. You know, and yeah, I guess that's kind of my little reflection blog. I'm gonna go upload it, and yeah, thanks for watching.